wonderful morning, fantastic morning. Good morning to you, my wonderful viewers. Welcome to the G9ijaTV News Headline with your host, Dr. Champion. How was the night? How was your weekend? And it's a very wonderful morning. We'll be having, of course, our quick motivational tips this morning. And before we even get to the news headline, we just have one or two health talk to talk about what was trending over the weekend of that old man that died in the bus in Kwara State and his environs, Kwara State Road precisely. Okay, but before then, it's a new week. Visions and goals are important if you must go anywhere in life. What then is a vision? A vision is a mental picture of where you are going to. What you want to become, you have a mental picture. What you desire to become, you can see it from your inner mind. You can look at it through your inner mind, from your inner heart. You can see it from your inner mind. So a vision is actually the picture of your future. And of course, goals. What are goals? Goals are detailed, laid out plans that are necessary to achieve what you desire. Your dreams, your aspirations, your wishes, your intentions cannot happen if you don't put goals on ground to ensure that they become reality. It's important to set goals. And like somebody said, if you don't know how to set goals, you will not go far in life. Goal setting is important for our everyday life. You must understand that every great man is a goal setter. Every great man is a goal-getter. So what goals are you setting for yourself this new week? What are the plans you have? Remember, if you fail to plan, you have planned to fail. The best time to plant a tree, like they said, was 20 years ago. But the second best time to plant that tree is now. You might have failed in the past, but remember, failure is just an opinion. You can get up, brush up, and pick up yourself and begin to move towards the goals you expect to become reality in your life. Okay, we're going on a quick commercial break, and when we're back, we shall share the sad news of that man that is trending online, especially on our X handle. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Okay, you're welcome back. And in case you're just joining us, it's the G9ijaTV News Headlines this morning with your host, Dr. Champion. Tragedy strikes as man dies after suffering seizure while bus breaks down in Kwara State. Tragedy strikes as man dies after suffering seizure while bus breaks down in Kwara State. Now the news in detail. Trending news this morning. In a heartbreaking incident that unfolded on the roads of Kwara State, tragedy struck when a man suffered a seizure and tragically passed away after the commercial bus he was traveling in broke down on the expressway. Eyewitnesses recounted the harrowing ordeal that unfolded as the bus came to a sudden halt due to mechanical failure, leaving passengers stranded on the roadside. Among them was the unfortunate victim whose health took a sudden turn for the worse as he experienced a severe seizure. According to reports from bystanders who rushed to the scene to offer assistance, the man convulsed uncontrollably for hours inside the immobilized bus as fellow passengers and passerbys frantically sought to provide aid and comfort. Despite their efforts, the situation rapidly escalated into a medical emergency, with the man's condition deteriorating rapidly. Witnesses described the scene as chaotic, with onlookers desperately attempting to summon help and provide assistance to the stricken passenger. However, their efforts proved to be in vain as the man tragically succumbed to the seizure before medical assistance could arrive. The identity of the deceased has not yet been disclosed, pending notification of his next of kin. However, his untimely demise has sent shockwaves through the community, prompting calls for improved emergency response services and greater awareness of medical conditions that can lead to sudden health crises. Local authorities have launched an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the incident, with a focus on determining the cause of the bus breakdown and evaluating the response to the medical emergency that ensued. Meanwhile, condolences poured in for the family and loved ones of the deceased, as the community mourns the loss of a fellow traveler whose journey was tragically cut short on that fateful day in Kwara State. Of course, that's the trending news this morning, and it's a sad one for us. But we'll go on a quick commercial break, and when we're back, we shall analyze the reason why this news is trending, and of course, what you can do to safeguard yourself, God forbid, in case you see a person having a seizure, or God forbid, you are a victim yourself. Knowledge, they say, is power, so we're here to learn this one. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and in case you're just joining us, it's the G9ijaTV news headlines this morning, and we're actually looking at a trending news talking about the sad occurrence that happened over the weekend when an elderly man lost his life due to a seizure attack. And of course, special kudos to Abeni Oki, the lady who kept on tweeting on her X handle and brought the information to public limelight. I want to appreciate you for your kindness and your proactiveness in trying to help save the man's life. We saw how you tried to reach out to online doctors, and of course we couldn't really do much to save him, but thank you for bringing that to public limelight. And that brings us an interesting topic this morning about seizure. What is a seizure? A seizure is a condition where the brain cells malfunction and send electrical signals uncontrollably. A seizure is a condition where brain cells malfunction and send electrical signals uncontrollably. That causes symptoms affecting other parts of your brain and body. It causes symptoms that affects other parts of your brain and body. Anyone can have seizure, but some people have them more easily for various reasons. Seizures are often treatable, especially depending on the underlying cause. What is a seizure? A seizure is a medical condition where you have a temporary unstoppable surge of electrical activity in your brain. When that happens, the affected brain cells uncontrollably fire signals to others around them. This kind of electrical activity overloads the affected areas of your brain. That overload can cause a wide range of symptoms or effects. The possible symptoms include abnormal sensations, passing out, and uncontrolled muscle movements. Treatment options, depending on seizure types, includes medication, surgeries, and special diet changes. The term seizure comes from the ancient belief in multiple cultures that seizures were a sign of possession by an evil spirit or a demon. But modern medicine has uncovered the truth. Everyone can have seizures, and some people can have them more easily than the others. What then is the difference between seizures and epilepsy? Understanding the difference between seizures and epilepsy starts with knowing seizures fall into two main categories depending on why they happen. We have number one, provoked seizures, and number two, unprovoked seizure. What is provoked seizure? Provoked seizure happens because of other conditions or circumstances, high fevers, alcohol, or drug withdrawal, sometimes low blood sugar. These things can cause provoked seizure. Provoked seizures make up 25 to 30% of all seizures. So if you see sometimes cases of high fever, that's why sometimes when you see somebody it's not good to have very high fever, he begins to jerk, he begins to shake. It is not epilepsy. It's not that he's even about to die. It's just an interruption in the flow of hormones in his brain. And of course, like we said, the electrical surge that makes that to happen. So high fevers, too much alcohol, or even withdrawal from drugs, drug withdrawal. You are used to a certain drug, all those that are involved in drug abuse, which is wrong. And after a while, you don't take them. You have withdrawal syndrome, and it can begin to lead to seizures. We call that provoked seizures. And of course, like we said before, they make up to 25 to 30% of all seizures that are known in medical history. And second most important seizure, we have the unprovoked seizure. The unprovoked seizure. They aren't symptoms of a current medical conditions or circumstance, and they occur when a person's brain can more easily produce spontaneous seizures. This also includes seizures that happen more than 7 days after a specific cause. So, for example, sometimes such causes could be an injury in the head or even a stroke. even paralysis. Right, these things can lead to what we call unprovoked seizures, and like we said, they happen more easily. They can happen when a person's brain can more easily produce spontaneous seizures. Now, what makes that different from epilepsy is that epilepsy is a brain condition that puts you at risk of having spontaneous, unprovoked seizures. So we can see the difference between point number 1 and point number 2, provoked seizures and unprovoked seizures. Healthcare providers diagnose it when you have at least 2 unprovoked seizures, or you have a single unprovoked seizure and have a high risk of having at least 1 more in the next 10 years. Having a single unprovoked seizure increases the odds of having another. Provoked seizures aren't enough for a provider to diagnose you with epilepsy. So that you have a seizure does not mean that you are epileptic. Like some people say when they saw the news trending of that elderly man, they say, maybe he had epilepsy before. No, it most likely was a provoked seizure. And later we shall discuss some things that can provoke that more extensively. Who does it affect? Everyone can have seizures, but some people have them as medical conditions, and that makes it to happen to them more easily. Seizures are more likely to happen at a certain age. For example, children are more likely to have seizures and epilepsy, but many of them over time, as they grow out of it, they grow out of the condition. The risk of having a seizure or developing epilepsy also start rising when you get to age 50 because of conditions like stroke, conditions of aging, when the body begins to age, when you begin to have aging symptoms. For example, for the women, menopause sets in. For the men, you start having hormonal changes in your private part. You start having that in your body system, arthritis, and all of that. Okay, how common are seizures? They are very, very uncommon. Seizures are uncommon, but are still well known by most people. For example, there's a statistic that said that 11% of people living in the United States of America will have at least 1 seizure during their lifetime. We're yet to get the statistics for those in Nigeria. Epilepsy is much less common. Between 1 and 3% of people in the US will develop epilepsy during their lifetime, while for seizures, you have them up to 11%. Okay, so as we begin to round up this, there's something important we need to bring to your notice, and that is, how do seizures affect your body? Your brain contains billions of cells known as neurons. These cells transmit and relay chemical and electrical signals to each other. A single neuron in your brain connects to thousands more, forming communicating networks. Those networks are how different parts of your brain work together, so you can do things like solve problems, solve memories, and move around.